Avoid irrelevance, exclude unrelated or outdated works. Part 1. Understanding the importance of avoiding irrelevance. In Chapter 2, a well-structured literature review must focus on relevant, high-quality sources that directly contribute to the research topic. Including unrelated or outdated works can dilute the discussion, create confusion, and weaken the study's academic rigor. Thus, avoiding irrelevance is a crucial step in ensuring a clear, focused, and meaningful review of related literature. One of the primary reasons for excluding irrelevant studies is to maintain coherence and alignment with research objectives. Every source cited in Chapter 2 should have a direct connection to the research problem, theoretical framework, or methodology. If a study does not contribute to these aspects, it is best left out. For instance, in a study on the effects of online learning on student performance, research focusing on traditional face-to-face classroom strategies without digital components may be unrelated and should be excluded. Another key consideration is avoiding outdated sources. While foundational theories and landmark studies are essential, researchers should prioritize recent publications, typically from the last 5 years, to ensure that the literature review reflects current developments and modern perspectives. Fields like technology, medicine, and education evolve rapidly, meaning older sources may not provide accurate or applicable insights. For example, a 1990s study on internet-based learning may no longer be relevant due to advancements in artificial intelligence and virtual reality in education. To effectively avoid irrelevance, researchers should critically evaluate each source before inclusion. The following criteria can help determine whether a study is relevant. Does it directly relate to the research questions, hypotheses, or objectives? Is it published in a credible academic journal, book, or conference proceeding? Does it contribute new insights, theories, or empirical data? Is the publication date within an acceptable range? Additionally, researchers should avoid sources with weak methodologies or unclear findings, as these can reduce the credibility of the literature review. Studies that lack empirical evidence, rely on outdated theories, or have methodological flaws should be excluded to maintain academic integrity. Techniques for identifying and excluding irrelevant works: clearly define inclusion and exclusion criteria. Before collecting literature, set clear guidelines for what qualifies as relevant. These criteria should be based on topic relevance, publication date, source credibility, and alignment with research objectives. Use keywords and filters. When searching databases like Google Scholar, PubMed, or JSTOR, use specific keywords and set filters to include only recent and peer-reviewed studies. Scan abstracts and conclusions. Instead of reading entire papers, quickly assess abstracts and conclusions to determine relevance before investing time in a full review. Group literature by theme. Organizing sources by major themes ensures that all included studies directly contribute to the discussion. By carefully selecting only relevant and up-to-date works, researchers can enhance the clarity, focus, and credibility of their literature review. Part 2. Implementing strategies to avoid irrelevance. In Chapter 2. After understanding why it is important to exclude unrelated or outdated works, the next step is to implement practical strategies for maintaining a focused and relevant literature review. This ensures that Chapter 2 effectively supports the research objectives and framework without unnecessary distractions. 1. Establishing inclusion and exclusion criteria. Before gathering sources, researchers should create a clear set of criteria to determine what qualifies as relevant. Some common criteria include: white heavy checkmark inclusion, studies directly related to the research problem. Peer-reviewed journals, books, and credible sources. Research conducted within the last 5 to 10 years, unless foundational theories are needed. Studies that contribute new perspectives, data, or methodologies. Crossmark exclusion, studies with no direct connection to the research topic. Outdated research unless historically necessary. Sources with methodological weaknesses or limited credibility. Opinion pieces, blog posts, and non-peer-reviewed sources. By establishing these guidelines early, researchers can efficiently filter sources and focus only on relevant literature. 2. Prioritizing recent and high-quality sources. The relevance of research is highly dependent on its publication date and credibility. While older works may provide historical context, most of the literature should be recent to reflect current knowledge and advancements. This is especially important in rapidly evolving fields like technology, healthcare, and education. For example, a study on artificial intelligence in healthcare should include recent advancements in machine learning and diagnostics, rather than outdated discussions from the early 2000s. Research on climate change adaptation must incorporate recent policy changes and environmental studies rather than relying solely on older climate models. To ensure quality, researchers should prioritize sources from respected journals, university publications, and official reports while avoiding non-academic or biased sources. 3. Using database filters and advanced search techniques, efficient literature searches can prevent accidental inclusion of irrelevant works. Researchers should use Boolean operators and, or not, to refine search results. Set filters for recent publications, last 5 to 10 years, in databases like Google Scholar, Scopus, and PubMed. Specify search terms that match research variables and objectives to avoid unrelated results. For example, instead of searching for student learning strategies, a more specific search like Impact of Digital Learning on Student Performance, 2015 to 2024, will yield more relevant studies. 4. Avoiding redundant or superficial studies. Some studies may be technically related but do not add significant value to the literature review. If multiple sources repeat the same findings without new insights, researchers should select the most comprehensive and authoritative sources instead of including multiple redundant ones. Compare similar studies and cite the most relevant or up-to-date findings. Focus on studies that address different aspects of the topic rather than simply restating existing knowledge. 5. Structuring the literature review for maximum relevance. Even after selecting relevant sources, the organization of the literature review determines its effectiveness. A well-structured Chapter 2 should start with foundational theories that provide necessary background. Move into recent studies to highlight new developments and trends. Identify research gaps where further studies are needed. Synthesize findings rather than listing studies individually. By following this structure, researchers ensure that all included literature directly supports the study's goals without unnecessary diversions. Conclusion: avoiding irrelevant and outdated works is essential for maintaining clarity, focus, and academic integrity in Chapter 2. By establishing clear selection criteria, prioritizing recent and credible sources, refining search techniques, and organizing literature effectively, researchers can create a strong, coherent, and impactful literature review. Ensuring that every study contributes meaningfully to the discussion enhances the study's validity and strengthens its contribution to the field. If you like this kind of content, click subscribe to be updated on the next video. Thank you for watching.